which coasters would be in your dream coaster park? I decided to flesh out this idea hardcore, pretending I had billions of dollars just to make a screw you park with just the best stuff in the world, completely financially unsound, would never generate profit, and in fact, I'll just make it to where only my friends can go in there like Stricker's Grove. Whatever, I have billions of dollars and I don't really care and I'm ready to burn some money. Given that premise, I only gave myself one rule, that the 20 roller coasters in this park are going to need to be from 20 different manufacturers, and it will need to theoretically be a realistic purchase. So I can't, get a coaster from the LA Thompson Scenic Railway or something because they've been gone for 100 years. That can't be a manufacturer. And I do want to make a well-rounded park, but not really focusing on children at all. Because, this is my park, right? And so here's what I would build in this crazy thing. The headlining coasters, of which there's like over 10, I mean, they're all headliners, really. The first coaster would be an S&S Fourth Dimension, kind of like a Jamaika, 284 feet. Oh, also, let me set the environment here. You see how you're looking at Holiday World? Imagine topography like that, or like Silver Dollar City, Lake Compound, something very hilly where you can just exploit terrain like crazy. Holiday World's topography is a very good example of what I'm talking about. Second on this park would be an Intamin Giga, 375 feet. Think Intimidator 305, but a modern version of it, giving Intamin free will to do whatever they want to make a crazy ride that makes people black out, that kind of stuff. Yeah, that's my second one. Number 3, I would have a Mach Extreme Spinner. Just take Ride to Happiness and just scale it up. I don't really feel like being more creative in explaining it than that, but that's what I would do. The fourth would be a Gerstlauer Infinity, 180 feet, I guess. And, well, I mean, it's really hard to tell you the height of all of these because it's going to be on a hilly terrain, right? But just work with me, I guess. And why not give it 20 inversions, the inversion record, completely ridiculous. It'll probably going to need 3 lift hills or something, but we're going to get it done. Smiler will no longer be the inversion guy. Number 5 in this park, so think Thunderbird, kind of like at Holiday World. I'm going to have a B&M wing coaster with 4 freaking launches. It's going to be long. It's going to go through the trees like Thunderbird does, but with a lot more terrain elements, think how Voyage does it. Like most of these coasters are going to take advantage of the terrain the same way that Voyage does in the park you're looking at. So that's the 5th one. Number 6, I'm going to have Premier Rides make me a launch coaster, kind of like a modern Mr. Freeze, but with a way fuller layout, like quadruple the length of that. And go ahead and make it a shuttle, but do some kind of crazy kind of thing using the terrain. That would be cool. Number 7 in the park, I will have Vekoma make me a Flying Dutchman, kind of like Fly at Phantasialand, 180 feet, I guess. And I'm just going to straight up hire the entire team that made Fly and have them re-envision it in this park's environment. Pretty simple stuff. 8th in this park, I'm going to have a Chance Rides Hyper GTX, but an actually hyper GTX, so 225 feet, I think. And that will be a pretty insane ride, don't you think? Doesn't exist yet, but it could easily be made. The 9th one is just a Jankathon that I kind of want for myself because I think it would be hilarious. I want to ask Ian F. Myler to make a coaster kind of like Hurricane at Fun Spot Kissimmee. I want them to build a 205-foot hyper like that. Hurricane is really fun. I really like that style model, and I think that a 200-footer of this would be one of the coolest, craziest rides. And I'm high, and that's why I'm coming up with ideas like this, but come on, think about that. So that's 9 out of 20, all right? We're going to have 5 Woodies in this park. The first one will be a Gravity Group Woody. Look at Voyage. I need something better than Voyage. Scale it up. Scale it up a lot. I'm going to have my own Hollywood Nights event, but there is going to be no trimming or any of that. Just imagine just a better Voyage, okay? Long layout, longer than the Beast. All that good stuff. The 11th one, I'm going to have RMC make me a Topper Woody. Think Wildfire at Carmarthen, but using the topography like Voyage, like we're the Voyage equivalent of this park. Have them dual, do all that cool shit. Next, I'll have, for my 12th coaster, I'll have GCI make me the best coaster they've ever made. Think wood coaster in China. as an example. Look up wood coaster POV if you want an idea. I want them to make something like that. I mean, honestly, have all these Woodies kind of dueling with each other. They're all going to look different, so you'll be able to identify them. Yeah, the same thing. Have GCI take advantage of the terrain on this. The 13th coaster is a little bit of a stretch, but roll with it with me. I'm going to have Martin and Flemings. They're a subcontractor with Gravity Group, but that's my excuse to get 2 Gravity Groups in this park because it's the only realistic way. I'm going to have them build me a coaster. Think Lost Coaster of Superstition Mountain with an elevator lift hill and just really tight corners in the car. Just imagine that coaster, but imagine scaled the hell up like a 5-minute long ride using the terrain. Think about that for a second. Anyway, my next 5 coasters or so are a huge stretch, but it is technically realistic because I can throw $50, $100 million bribes at people to make these things happen, okay? My 14th coaster is the last Woody in the park. It'll be a PTC Hyper Buzz Bar Woody. Yes, PTC doesn't make coasters anymore, but they're still a company. They still make trains. I don't care if they have to subcontract it, bring people out of retirement, don't care how, but they could theoretically be bribed $100 million or something, 200, whatever they need, a quadrillion dollars, whatever they need. I'm bribing them and they're building me that. I don't think that's safe at all, but I mean, imagine a hyper Phoenix with this terrain. I mean, come on, man, that'd be outrageous. For my 15th coaster, it's pretty simple. I'm just going to outright purchase Olympia Looping, and that'll be my Schwarzkopf. It'll be a permanent installation, and nobody else can have it unless they visit my park. I'm sure Olympia Looping has a permanent price. I bet you I'll find it. For my 16th one, I'm going to make another purchase. I'm going to bribe Rizutsu Resort in Japan with a crazy amount of money to buy their Togo Ultra Twister, and that one specifically because that's the one that has the dive element rather than the transfer track. It's the only one. I want that. I'm buying it. Send, a quadrillion yen or whatever the conversion rate is, probably more than that. Anyway, for my 17th coaster, we're getting a little weird. I'm going to bribe Blackpool Pleasure Beach to buy their Aero Steeplechase. That'll be my family coaster thing. Old school. I'm going to have a few old school family whatchamacallums. I'm going to buy that. I love that. It's cute. It's the only triple dueling coaster in the world, I think, right now, right? Yeah, I'm doing that. For my 18th coaster, I'm gonna purchase the Wild Mouse from Wonderland in Amarillo, Texas, the Miler Wild Mouse with no restraints. Yeah, I'm gonna rename that thing and call it Fucked or something. Like, I'm gonna make that the name of the coaster or something like that. And then I'll just put a bunch of themed cool stuff there. That's like the best kind of Wild Mouse there is. I love that thing. For my 19th coaster, I'm getting a little goofy with it. It's going to be in-house. So think kind of like Primordial at Lagoon or something, but I'm just straight up hiring a bunch of people from Universal Studios and giving them a ton of money in indoor arena to build something on the scale of Space Mountain or something and let them do whatever they want. And I'm just going to give them, $1 billion, whatever they need, and then say, all right, let me know. And it'll be in-house because I assembled the team, and it's a stretch, isn't it? That's my 19th coaster. And for my 20th one, what the hell? I'm gonna have Vegan make me a fucking Alpine coaster. There's a ton of them out there. I want one. Imagine this terrain. Imagine being on a freaking Alpine coaster with the views of all of this shit. All right, guys, let me start a GoFundMe and find some billionaires to pool with other billionaires so we can burn some money. Who's with me? Let's do this shit. In the comments and stuff, tell me what you would do in your crazy park. With the same premise, though. You can build as many coasters as you want, but you have to have different manufacturers, and it has to be realistic. Come on, let's see them.